play the winner of Werribee and Box Hill tomorrow. We'll have that game for you live from 2 o'clock on 7 VFL as we start the second term. The Tigers have the breeze. Can they use it? Chol almost rocketed away but lost his feet. Heppel ducked his head as the umpire said. Townsend in there fighting hard. Bowman, Snelling, feeds it wide. Laguda keeps it low into the breeze. Hartley and Hocking there for the Bombers. Hartley will get there first. Flips a handball back inboard. Snelling with some fancy footwork. Evades the tackler and delivers to Houlihan. Breeze blowing directly into his face here.
Really smart kick from Snelling as well, not just to blaze away to the top of the square, lowered his eyes and hit up the leading forward.
Joining us in the commentary position is Tiger David Asprey. David, lovely to see you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Big breeze here at Punt Road. You guys obviously train here a lot. It seemed like the guys took half a quarter to settle in, but then started to get control of things.
Yeah, that's right. It's obviously a difficult end to score on as we have a look at this kick here. And
you can see how difficult it is as Houlihan puts it out on the full.
So, yeah, we had a session here this morning. It's really difficult, particularly from this outer side from the change rooms on Punt Road. And yeah, it will be difficult to score at that end, but yeah, hopefully we can, put our fair share of points on the board.
What's the key kicking with the breeze? Because it looked like the Bombers in that quarter fell into the trap of bombing it long a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's right. I think you still got to be composed with the possession of the footy. You know, you don't want to give them an opportunity to win it back. And yeah, like I don't think you want to bomb back to their numbers. They're good down the line. They're set up well here. And you know, we just got to make sure that we compete in the air, which CJ has done, Coleman Jones has done really well so far, and then get our pressure on the football.
What's the feeling like around the club at the moment, heading into another final series?
Yeah, it's been really good. This week off for the AFL listed players is more than welcome. We had a couple of sore bodies, but it gives us a real good opportunity to endorse and get around the VFL side, and Craig McRae and the rest of the development VFL coaches are doing an unbelievable job. So it gives us a great opportunity to get behind that.
Tiger defender David Asprey joining us in special comments as we get the second quarter of this first VFL qualifying final underway. Steve Morris, the Tigers VFL captain, with the intercept mark, sends it inside 50. It gets through some hands. Chol won't kick a second. We'll try and create one. Arts, some strong tackling work, and they'll pile in over the top. Jake Art's been a great story this year. David graduated from the VFL list and has been on the cusp of an AFL opportunity for weeks.
Yeah, Artie's been banging down the door for a long time now, and we've loved watching Jake play for the last couple of years in the VFL side. And, you know, his ability has really enhanced over the last couple of months in particular, and we're really impressed with what he's brought to the footy side.
Hartley over the top takes a fantastic mark. Moves it to the wing. Unan and Morris. Markov will gather just inside the line. He'll bring it inboard. Finds Ross. Ross will switch. Ben Miller will get on the end of this one. He'll look for the shorter option. On the bounce, McIntosh turns and goes, launches it high. Townsend sets himself at the front. Long comes over the back. Bombers win it at ground level. Bowman, quick kick. Back towards the wing. Awkward one for Minot. Slapped away by Miller. Taken by Ross. Now Butler can get it and go. Looks for an option inside 50. Naish will get on the end of it. And Paddy Naish, who is one of the young emerging developing Tigers here at Punt Road, a chance to go back from 40 out.
Yeah, he'll back himself from here, Patrick. He's pretty good by foot, but that was a good example of how we want to go inside 50, make sure we access the space on the other side of the ground, and not just blast away, as you gentlemen said earlier.
A couple of AFL games this season for Patrick Naish, rounds 12 and 13.
He acquitted himself very well in those two games. 15
VFL games, poll votes in 7 of them. From just inside 50, the breeze will push it left and it just clips the top of the post. So obviously a huge advantage to have your AFL and your VFL teams both still alive coming into September, because everyone's got something to play for and everyone's there to support each other.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's a really good feeling at the footy club. We know that, you know, our system is held up, you know, for much of the year, and, you know, we get an opportunity to showcase it against, you know, the best teams in the VFL and AFL as the weather fines up, and it's a beautiful day here at Punt Road. A little bit windy, but a great crowd here to support two great clubs.
Very few injuries as well this year, just like in 2017. You've only got 4 or 5 guys, Sydney, Stack and Higgins, but it's a pretty healthy list this time of year.
Yeah, that's right. We sort of hit a couple of hiccups during the middle part of the year where we had a lot of players out through injury, and You know, we rehabilitated really well and finished the year really strong in the home and away season. And you know, we've got a lot of fresh bodies. We've got a lot of football left in us, hopefully.
So margin at 13. There's Marbiel Troll and Screen and kick one of Richmond's 2 opening quarter goals. Alongside Jacob Townsend. Tigers with the advantage of the breeze. Bowman gets a couple of hands to it. Ross wrestled to the turf by Heppel. You already had a talented list, David, but the recruiting staff, Matt Clark and Blair Hartley, brought in a pretty rich crop through the 18 draft. Turner, Ross, they've already been guys that haven't necessarily had a lot of time at AFL level already, but they're showing really good signs. Yeah,
I think that's a testament to the program that we have at VFL level. We think the development, particularly of players like Jack Ross and Sydney Stack, was, you know, it was really fast-tracked through that program, and they were able to come in and play really good AFL footy. And we're really excited what those players are going to look for us long-term. And they're really good people as well, which I think has a lot to do with it.
Wonderful build-up from the Bombers. Snelling gets on the end of it, goes the extra kick, and Bagley will slide in and make it good.
That's the best passage of play for the afternoon. Some experienced heads. Bagley was the man that lowered his eyes and hit Heath Hocking up. Great lead at the ball carrier. He didn't want the ball out the back. I spoke about that in the first quarter. It's going to be held up, so those kicks out the back are going to be hard. Heath Hocking immediately went back in board, and they found Bagley, who started that whole chain, in the goal square. Terrific bit of play.
Feels like the breeze is just dying off a little bit in this second term. Not as blustery as it was. Bagley directly in front. An important goal into the wind, and he puts it through. Sorry, mate, I didn't realise we were on the same talkback. So when I'm talking to Tomo, you were hearing me as well, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did well to keep talking.
Trying to throw him off, Chase, eh? It's a windy day, so skill level has been a little bit down, but not in this passage of play. Snelling out to Bagley, the experienced Heath Hocking, who kicked a couple of goals in the first quarter, and he just kept working forward into that pocket. Mark Bagley announced his retirement, wants to keep his career going a few more weeks.
So Heppel battering around with Morris. Myers will get boot to ball, send the kick deep. Eyes on it for Garthwaite against Bagley. Garthwaite with that guile as a defender to see it towards the line. Melissa Smith couldn't keep it alive.
I want to ask you about Ryan Garthwaite.
Throw him into the fence.
Free kick against Bagley will go the way of Egg and Melissa Smith.
Ryan Garthwaite, I love him as a player. He'd be so hard to get a kick on. I see a lot of a young you in him. Has he been a guy that you've worked closely with?
Yeah, Garthy is exactly sort of what you see on the football field. He's so diligent and he holds himself to really high standards. And yeah, he works closely with myself, Dylan Grimes and Alex Rance. And yeah, I wouldn't like to be a forward playing with Garthy. He's very dour and he gets the job done. And sets up, he's so organised behind the footy, and I think that's why our defence in the VFL has been so strong this year. He's a huge part of that.
Dave, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. Good luck for the road ahead.
Thanks for having me, guys.
David Asprey joining us on 7 VFL. 19 points the margin. Important goal, that one from the Bombers into the breeze.
Ryan Garthwaite, it's like a human straitjacket. You just, as a forward, you just can't get your arms and legs up to contest the footy because he just engages the body so well.
Curvis goes against Bowman. It ricochets to Jake Long. Flashing through was Laguda. The Bombers win it again. Snelling gets it to Myers. Myers delivers to Hartley. He had position on Miller, just held him out. If there's one man who could kick this into the breeze, Brownie, it's Michael Hartley.
It surprised me a little bit. I understood why they threw him forward in the first quarter with the wind. I thought Dan Jordan, against the wind in this second term, might just play him down back, but he's given that a huge drive.
Can it hold its line? Not quite, but they've got it. Heppel read it nicely. It did just drop short. He gave it a real ride on the breeze. And this is going to be a tricky one for Aaron Heppel.
They're obviously very content with playing Michael Hartley as a forward, and at the moment they don't need to make the change.
So Aaron Heppel kicked one in the opening term. He's kicked 9-2 for the season, runs around, does it beautifully, and the Bombers kick away again.
2 goals into the breeze to start this second term.
We're right in saying the breeze, it's picked up again a little bit now, but the last few minutes it seemed like maybe it's just fluky. What's happening on the inside 50s, 4 apiece. Handball's 14-4 for the quarter.
Now, the Richmond defenders just needed to know their opponent a little bit better, because Michael Hartley has a massive leg on him, and what has been dropping short all afternoon had cleared over the back, and Heppel's almost taken an uncontested mark on the goal line, which shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
Uncontested possessions this quarter, nudge 19-10 in favour of the Bombers. They're getting it back on the outside again.
So Heppel 2, Hocking 2, and just when we thought the tide was turning coming into quarter time, Essendon have matched Richmond and outplayed them in the early 10 minutes.
We said off the top, Nudge, that they're going to have to manufacture some goals from their midfielders, because we weren't sure where they were going to come, and Heppel's bobbed up and kicked 2 crucial ones.
Bowman doing a manful job in the ruck. Union will not get past Townsend. Menadue did the early work. Townsend was there to finish it off. Menadue, rightly so, gets the spoils of the free. So what can Richmond generate with this breeze? Scholl flew early, dangerously. He was just about ready to build the Metro Tunnel himself then.
That's the definition of unrealistic attempt, I think. He didn't get a hand on it. He's flying for everything, though. It's exciting to watch.
It's great coaching that he's given the licence to fly like that as well. Brandon Zerk-Thatcher just to steady things up here for the Bombers.
He has a gift. You need to nurture it.
Bowman tried to body Nankervis under the footy. He'll kick forward only as far as Aylett. He'll try and work things back to shift it. Matt D, who was so vocal in their quarter-time huddle, said, we're going to keep grinding at this one. His kick hangs. McNeese had to stand under it, bore the contact and recovered as well. And again, they didn't get through the Richmond defence, but it's a little win that they just don't give it up.
I know that Essendon like to maintain possession, they're high uncontested marks, and they usually look to switch, but on a day like today, it's going to be very hard. Just because that ball's going to hold up, you're not going to be able to get quick ball movement out of your back half like they have in the past.
Nankervis takes it out of the ruck. Noonan tackles him. Quick release, touched off the boot of Townsend. English up in front. Here's Coleman Jones. Feeds it to Menadue. He'll get a look from 20 out. And the Tigers get one back.
Good vision. From the big man, Coleman. He's been good, hasn't he? Big presence up there, yeah. Really good. A really good vision there from Coleman Jones as well. Get the ball out to Menadue, who was out there in the 2017 Grand Final. He wasn't playing, but he won the Grand Final sprint in an upset that day. Beat Jaden Hunt. So he was involved.
He was also in the VFL finals that year, kicked a goal in their narrow Grand Final loss, kicked 5 goals in the 2017 VFL finals. It's a spiteful game, as you'd expect for a final. Bagley takes the advantage, sends it deep. Caulfield with a couple to beat. Hocking, the spoil, Beckman to Crumb. A huge smother, but it works its way to Hartley, and the Bombers bounce back immediately.
Excellent free kick, prohibited contact. Prohibited contact.
Free kick, prohibited contact. Johnny,
leave it. No, prohibited contact from here.
Looks like it.
Thanks, boys. Off we go. You got the kick
from half forward.
There's a free kick back up there. There's a free kick back up there.
It's just here. Thanks, Peter. Just just hold.
No, wait for the light.
Thanks, mate.
Wait for the light.
Well done.
Prohibited contact.
Thinking by the umpires. Wait for the light.
Good on him.
Well, the spite off the ball continues. It's a free kick to the Bombers at half forward. After that last goal was kicked, a bit of a scuffle. Jake Long's got it forward to the centre.
Desperation from Garthwaite was magnificent.
So he launches it back inside 50 again. Scholl up at the front, up he goes. Takes a strong grab.
Got all the answers at the moment, Essendon.
Margin at 25 points. It's Chol. Thumps it long, punched away from Moore. Nice crumb from Turner. Floats a kick towards the wing. Dirk Thatcher stretches to get there, can't do so. Weller looks to keep it alive. Arts can't quite get there in time.
That spite just continues, that niggle in this game. It's been there right from the start.
I sense you're enjoying it.
Well, I am, because it was instigated by the underdog in Essendon, and all of a sudden they got the jump on the Tigers, and now they've come to play. They realise what's at stake.
Hartley and Scholl go at it. Plenty of numbers around this one. It's not coming out in a hurry. So the Bombers with the breeze kicked the opening 4 goals of the game. Richmond then kicked the next couple, brought it back to 14 points at quarter time. But the Bombers have steadied and kicked away once again.
Begley, Lant rushes onto it, tosses the handball forward, street there to gather. Got an option in board in the form of Markov, whose handball was windy, but beats Union Streets. Just hung the handball. Minot had eyes only for it. Hot in the kitchen right now for Butler as well.
Look at the intensity that Essendon are bringing to every contest.
Mav Weller, in fact, the man at the bottom, former Saint and Son.
Hold that meter, okay?
A margin at 25. Richmond have got halfway through their term with the breeze. Haven't taken much of a bite out of Essendon's lead whatsoever. Laguta grabs the intercept. Tynan trying to coach him through where he wants this ball. Hang it back towards the Dyer stand. Hartley over his head. Lant tried to push Chol under it, then goes back together. Shovels it to Myers on his favoured left. Shapes it to the straitjacket in Garthwaite.
Across the face of goal, awkward for Caulfield. He's taken to the line. Good pressure from Bagley, as you mentioned, Brownie. He's a battering ram in the second term.
They've brought great frontal pressure right from the get-go. They're not folding back, waiting for the ball to potentially go over the top of them. They're just coming in waves, and it's forcing pressure on the ball carrier, and they're turning it over.
Bombers successfully lock it in once again. Build a wall behind it. Day nudged out of it, a chance to pick it up at ground level. Unan tried to get it to Heppel. Ross, he was dispossessed. McIntosh taken down by Day. Ball still in dispute. Chol in over the top of Heppel. Houlihan on hands and knees. He dives on it. Lant in there too, and eventually the umpire, no choice but to ball it up. Approaching time on second term. There's Dan Jordan. He'd be delighted.
Okay, hold the meter.
The first quarter and a half from his side. Got themselves into a very handy position. Chol only as far as Unan. Throws it on the boot. Bounces it goalward. It's still alive in the pocket. Turner will get there first. Spins and kicks in the one motion. Arts and Tynan and out.
So three goals to 1 in the quarter. The other qualifying finals, second Footscray hosting third Williamstown. There's a significant breeze there, and it's almost three-quarter time, and the Bulldogs are just 4 points in front. So interesting to see how that one unfolds. Bombers back inside 50 through Long at the drop. Bagley off to Minot, off a step. Can he generate enough to get it all the way? Has that got through hands? It hasn't. Garthwaite gets a fingertip to it and denies the Bombers an 8. Margin at 26, and again, it's swung. And right now, it's on Essendon's terms, despite the fact Richmond have got that breeze.
Thank God Richmond have Ryan Garthwaite on the last line. He's saved multiple goals.
Coleman Jones gone. Tackle came from Lant. Missed the handball. Jake Long takes a dive. Oh, and he's paid the 50.
50 metres.
Wow.
50 metres, Essendon, come with me.
Turns it into a goal, a gift. Contact was made to Jake Long.
On the mark, okay.
Looked like exaggerated contact from Long. The contact was certainly there and didn't need to be, and Lant kicks the goal as the Tiger crowd erupt.
Just cool down.
Anything out of those that you can pick out? That second quarter numbers.
Hey, boys. Let's just slow the tempo down a little bit, all right?
They continue to win the clearances in the contested possession.
14-6 handball receives.
I'll ask if it's a flop.
Are we seeing it again?
What do we make of this? Is it a flop?
Of course it's a flop. Yeah, no doubt. That
50 will get up.
Oh, that sort of contact you don't go to ground on, but was it necessary? Probably not. That's gifted the Bombers another goal. So they're in their heads at the moment. They've got them rattled on the scoreboard. They're not giving them any clean possession. They're not allowing Richmond to play the way that they've played all year, and they're getting frustrated.
You'd argue this is the best of Dylan Lance, 10 VFL games. Coming up big in a final. Myers the clearance, Union to the front, through hands. Miller, tackled by Houlihan, gathering Hocking. Heppel goes ground and kicks his third. Big game from the skipper. Can stick your AFL play numbers where the sun don't shine right now.
Wow.
Sorry, Lloyd. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Essendon, one back.
5 goals to 1 into the breeze in the second term of the Bombers.
Coming into today, Heppel had kicked 8 goals in 17 matches. He's now got 3, 2 in this second half, and he's having the game of his life in his first final as captain, leading this club magnificently.
This is starting to get out of control for the minor premiers. Margin out to 38 points. Laguda taken down by Arts. Tigers need a response. Nankervis tries to crash through. Bearing in mind, Essendon came from 23 points down at three-quarter time the last time these sides met, so there's still plenty of time for the Tigers, but they need to get something rolling here.
Hold the meter.
Bowman in the ruck against Nankervis. Don's building in confidence. Long, high kick towards Miller and Hartley. Markov has to wait for the bounce. Lays a tackle, slick little handball out the back came from Minot. Open the door for Heppel, who's been everywhere. Socket off the ground by Bagley, heads out in pursuit. He's got Morris right on his shoulder, and the two veterans take it to the line. So for Craig McRae right now, what are you doing? What moves can you make? What levers can you pull?
He'll be waiting for the half-time siren, no doubt, to just try and get some structure worked out. I mean, they've been completely outplayed in this second quarter, where we're saying it's a 4 or 5 goal win that Richmond have to the left of screen. Yet it's Essendon doing all the attacking.
10 inside 50s to 6. Street set upon by who else but Heppel. Weller, Long goes lower and perhaps a bit harder. He did drag it in. Won't be penalised.
Essendon again in this second term are winning the clearances, winning the contested possessions, which has been Richmond's game plan all year.
Menadue quick, Pickett, tackled by his fellow 50 in Tynan, and somehow came free to English, but there's nothing clean about Richmond's possession here. Can Butler create something? A mess of players in there. At the back, gathering and steadying was Guccione. His kick will come deep. Egmalesi Smith there to relieve the pressure for the Tigers. They need a goal, and they need one in a hurry. The margin at 38 points. Richmond with the agency of a breeze left of screen, 1 goal to 5 against in the term.
Egmalesi Smith launches towards half forward. Over the back, it's Bombers with the numbers. Tynan, Long, fashions a kick towards Kurt Ayler. Ellie Blackburn, your boundary side on the opposite side of the ground where the interchange benches are. What's the breeze doing in this second term?
It has dropped down a little bit in this second term. It's still there, it's still pretty strong, but compared to the first, it has died down a little bit. But it just looks like Essendon are just playing better footy and obviously beating Richmond at their own game.
It's been very impressive from the Bombers. Quick kick out of the congestion into the hands of Bagley, who's been really important. Uncertain of his options, goes really wide, too wide at the end. Hartley takes the mark over the line.
Some really low numbers for some Richmond players. Camden McIntosh just the 2 disposals. Jakey Arts can't get involved in the game. He's had 2 handballs, more 2 disposals, as with Mav Weller. So
here is Weller, floats it inside 50. It'll almost clear the contest. Important fist from Guccione. Butler's there, trying to gather from deep inside the pocket. Squares it up. Dangerous position off the hands of Arts. Houlihan dumped in the tackle. Umpire says play on. Spills to Weller. 35 out. Floats at goalwards and hits the post.
2 posters in this quarter as well for the Tigers. You need to get the ball into the hands of some of the inventive forwards like Jake Arts and more.
And Curvis getting involved. And far from a total dominance in the ruck. Riley Bowman doing a manful job for the Bombers. Ross tries to change lanes. Scholl just pushed Zirk Thatcher out of it. Pickett, a little bit of option here. Menadue with the dancing feet. Already got one in the term. Oh, he's creative.
I didn't think there was a hole.
Is Menadue out of contract this year? Could he be looking at being trade
Some
guy?
chance, yeah. I reckon regardless of contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
Townsend the same.
They chat.
Townsend, Menadue both been great. Butler, all 3 of them.
Yep.
Markov.
Another really classy finish from Connor Menadue. He's one of those interesting guys. He's an outstanding VFL footballer. He's not getting the opportunities at AFL level at this strong Richmond club. Just the 6 matches this year on the back of 5 last year. Just be wondering, there'd be a few clubs circling for his talent.
Yeah, he's been emergency about a dozen times this season. Here's Lance. Tigers have had the response so far in this game. Myers can launch it long into the breeze towards the square. Beckley goes back. Good defence, gets it to the line. Margin at 31 points, approaching half-time. Healthy crowd here for the start of the VFL final series. This the qualifying final winner to get the week off and progress straight to preliminary final weekend. As Scholl takes it out of the ruck. Quick release. Weller, he's immediately tackled. Liam McKenna's come into the side today and done plenty of heavy inside bullocking work around here, as we figured he would. Came in for a reason, and that was it.
Yeah, been a really good addition to this side.
There he is in the midst of it again against Garthwaite. Hartley goes up, tries to get it to Bagley. Well done by Townsend. Rode the contact. Collier Dawkins. Naish stripped. Zirk Thatcher dumped. Strong tackle, Collier Dawkins in front of the Jack
There's a pylon again. Every contest.
Up here. Thanks, fellas. Let's
There's
go.
plenty of feeling in it.
Let go. Thank you. Rucks, please. Block. Essendon, you blocked him straight away.
And a 50-50 split of red and yellow sashes in the Jack Dyer stand are divided in their opinion.
Looked at him and blocked the ball. Careful, mate. Careful. No more, okay? No more.
The energy that's spilling out onto the ground from that big old
Thanks,
grandstand.
mate. Lights here, okay? Hold
Fantastic.
there. Time back on.
So free kick Bowman against Scholl. Another entry into attack for the Bombers. Hartley will rush at this, at least make a contest. Menadue flipped out of it. Unan goes low.
Punt road comes alive, doesn't it, this time of year?
Well, it's a magical venue. It's going to be fascinating to see AFLW here over summer as well, but the passion of the fans to come here on such a wonderful day with September at our doorstep, as Scholl has an air swing in front of the Jack Dyer stand and then gets dumped into the turf for good measure, almost summarises Richmond's first 2 quarters. Egmalesi Smith finds some space. Street is set upon. Bomber pressure is at a blast furnace. Unit's kick was touched. McIntosh gives it off quickly to Caulfield. A nervy kick to the running Turner, who can gather. What can Richmond create from the back half? Turner's just a big dump kick trying to clear it. Guccione lost his footing. Pickett, handball, puts McIntosh under pressure. Well done, Begley, to stop him.
Richmond haven't been able to have any fluent ball movement from the back half at all. It's due to the pressure, the wind. Essendon have done a really good job at just shutting them down.
Scholl again tries to take it out of the ruck. Awkward bounce, beat Guccione. D at the back. And that one's going to come straight up and straight down. Coleman Jones couldn't control it in the air. D goes back to try and win his own ball. McKenna goes thundering in from one direction. Collier Dawkins from the other. That was a heavy hit.
right in front of us, Jace. You could hear the body making contact with one another. Bang.
McKenna bleeding from the lip. Umpire hasn't spotted it yet.
How have you spotted it then?
Because he's facing me and not the umpire.
Binoculars.
And I've got binoculars. Here's Bowman. Unan. Snelling. Kicks towards half forward. A chance for Hocking, but he just fumbled it and allowed Egbelesi Smith to get up and dump him into the turf.
Holding the ball. Richmond.
Big stop. Derek Egbelesi Smith had an outstanding VFL season, was rewarded late in the year with a couple of AFL games, and Richmond are hanging on by their fingernails right now. A goal either way down the stretch of this second term would be huge. Townsend has it. Kicked one of their rare goals so far. Menadue gets involved. Arts looking for some space. Finally gets some. Can he light things up? He'll set things up. Steadying kick to the top of the square, the 50s. Pickett and Tynan will clash. Pickett looking for some space. Forced back onto his left. It dribbles its way inside 50. Gathered by Myers.
Got 15, play on!
You heard the call. They have to keep it in motion. Aylett. Guccione looks to clear the area, and with good reason, Snelling down the line. Good fist Nash as well. Richmond might get one more look, but it's been the Bombers' quarter. Superb play from the Dons in this term after they led by 14 points after using the breeze in the opening quarter. 5 goals to 2 in the term.
So Marlon Pickett that started on the half-back flank. He's been thrown forward in an attempt to use his experience to hit the scoreboard.
Chol at the front, Bowman at the back. Tried to get it down to Collier Dawkins, who looked to ride the Snelling tackle.
Hey, Jacob, please, just let him get Mark, walk away. All right, we're going to hop up. Just let him up.
Not seeing a lot of walking away today, Brownie.
You never walk away in a final.
Hold the meter.
Bowman slaps towards the line. Ross will get there first for the Tigers.
Throw it in.
Even in a home and away game, you don't walk away.
I think practice matches aren't good. You didn't walk away last night.
You just got to love it. The competitive juices start flowing. There's a big crowd here. Winner goes through to a preliminary final, and you're one step closer to winning a premiership.
Menadue through traffic was clever. Ross tries to bust through Jake Long, who takes him down.
I'm really impressed the last few weeks with the desperation from Jake Long. Last week against Geelong down at Cardinia Park, he was superb. He set the tone with his physicality and tackling, and he's doing it again today.
Over the back of the rucks. All in dispute. Lots of players around this one. Heppel puts his head down, tries to come charging through. In the end, Street managed to strip it, but couldn't beat the whistle.
This is playing into the hands of the Essendon Footy Club. They're happy to turn it into a scrap for the last few minutes of this half. Richmond with the win, so
33 minutes.
Here, right? Hold the meter.
Every second that ticks by is a good thing for Dan Jordan.
Chol can't work free of Bowman. Bagley will get a chance to test out that neck. Snelling's got a couple of Tigers to outpoint. Stays involved.
Oh.
Huge tackle.
Dangerous tackle.
Dangerous tackle.
Dangerous tackle report.
And we've heard a
Plenty
report.
on report. Let it go. Let it go.
Up again.
Dangerous tackle report.
Go now, free kick.
Jacob.
Let go now, boys.
Jacob.
Let go now. Let
I'm
go.
reporting
Thanks,
it.
fellas.
Jacob
Off we go.
Townsend goes in the book.
Off we go.
After a brilliant VFL season, he's been in the best 14 times this year, Townsend.
Hey.
Boys, off we
Jacob.
go.
Too rough. No. Too fucking rough. I'm placing on report for rough conduct.
Apologies for the language. Tempers fraying, passions are high. Jacob Townsend on report
for rough conduct, okay?
Big dumping tackle on Jake Long, who we were just talking about.
Bowsy, you stay there. I'll be mid-zone, okay?
You're mid-zone? All right.
Stay there, I'm mid-zone.
The 34-minute term gets a time extension.
Here it is, Brownie. What do you make of it?
Yours.
Hold Richmond,
I lost it
thank
in the
you.
sun, mate, to be honest with you. I couldn't see the replay clearly, so I can't comment on it.
Play on.
I'll look at it at half-time.
Yeah, honest of you to say, the monitor's being smashed here by the sun. Hard to tell.
Hold there, clear the mark.
Mine it forward to Hartley. Is there one more shake in the Bomber tail? Hartley hangs it and Caulfield gets a big stop. Blocking was late. Tiger fans want 50. They ain't going to get it.
34 and a half minutes. Critical moments just here for Richmond to be tidy. Caulfield takes territory. Important mark up in front, and he's been really impressive, Callum Coleman-Jones.
He's presented well all afternoon. Moved the ball quickly to get some run and carry and overlap.
Smith spears it. It's going to be a turnover. Zerk Thatcher. Maybe a chance for the Bombers. Bowman floats towards half forward. Clears the contest. Smith there under pressure from Snelling. And still we play. 35 and a quarter minutes in the second term.
Rucks, please. Keep the meter.
There's been 7 goals kicked, plenty of stoppages as well. So
lots of extended ones too, where there's been scraps and push and shove with the umpires blown time off. Ball inside 50, Morris. And there is the siren for half-time. And what a half from Essendon. The underdogs came out, kicked the first 4 goals of the game, took control. Richmond came back at them. Essendon.
VFL Tribunal.
Second half, 7 VFL finals footy. It's Essendon by 31 points. Smith. Ross. Smith will get it back. Now Morris. Morris will kick towards half forward. Myers will come through and collect. Flip a handball to Long. Long will kick it high towards the outer wing. Miller, Hartley and out.
Dave Myers has had a terrific first half, leading all comers on the ground with 16 disposals, and he's already picked one up to start this third term. He's been really effective too with ball in hand, going at 82% disposal efficiency.
A lot of footy left to be played in this one. Plenty of time for the Tigers. They need to get something rolling. Nankervis starting in the ruck. Here's Heppel. Quick snap inside 50. Hartley worked his way to the front with strength. Miller had front spot. Hartley got rid of him, took the grab.
Yeah, it was brute strength, wasn't it? He wanted front position, and he eventually got it and ended up taking a contested mark, but it was on his chest. And this experiment almost to throw Michael Hartley forward in the biggest game of the season has been paying dividends. He hasn't kicked goals yet, but he's competed, he's brought the ball to ground, and he's been really effective.
Michael Hartley from 45 out. Really important kick to start the second half. And the Dons are away.
Three from Heppel, 2 from Hocking, and 2 now for Michael Hartley. Kicked that really good dribble goal in the second term, and a nice set shot finish there. Extends the margin, and Richmond have no answers at the moment.
Williamstown have done it again. They've upset the higher ranked team, and they are through to the preliminary final. Meanwhile, in the other game, it's the Borough by 7 points in that elimination final. So Willie are through to the preliminary final. Footscray will play the winner of Geelong and Port next week. Townsend to Nankervis.
Stay out, play on.
Motions is going to launch long, and that's what he does. Scholes his target. Over the top came Guccione. Here's a chance for Pickett. Runs onto it, and goals!
The quick response for the Tigers comes from the experienced Marlon Pickett. He just breaks that tackle, has the composure to steady himself. He's been thrown forward, as I mentioned. Was a star over in the waffle for South Fremantle.
Snaps a run of goals to the Bombers. Myers flips the clearance, losing his footing. Houlihan. That's a tricky bounce for all concerned, including Garthwaite. To the back for Begley. No one's still got hands on it, flicking a boot at Hartley. Almost pulled off one of the more remarkable goals you'll see. Michael Hartley's got a couple. Aaron Heppel, he's been the powder keg with 3. Essendon, it's a day for the underdog at the moment to start the VFL final series. As upstairs goes Zirk Thatcher. Brilliant. Myers with a cannon for a left leg. Thumps it deep. Push it across the face. And Essendon, with the margin, Brownie, you've got to be careful to continue to be methodical with their ball movement rather than just bombing, as you see Zirk Thatcher climb.
And if you're Richmond, while goals are of the essence, they've still got plenty of time and the last quarter to kick with the win. So you don't need to do it all at once. It's going to be a gradual process, but they've just got to start winning the ball around the contest, get the game back on their terms.
Pickett floats a kick. Naish, Menadue. Now back to Naish. Pops it over the top, left behind by Ross, has to go back and win it, which he does. Nankervis through some traffic. Spears it low towards half forward. McNeese went back, brought it to ground. Quick release was clever to D. D now to Tynan. Tynan will push it towards the wing. Hartley comes out on a searching lead, takes it on the chest. Will wheel and go. Again, he'll thump it long. Heppel tries to get across. Heavy contact.
You look straight at him. Back here, boys. Back here, please.
Did you look at the ball?
He was going for the ball. You looked at him.
Thanks, boys. Let's take another look. Seemed like a good physical contest to me, Brownie. What do you make of it? They're both looking at the ball then, and then they both looked at each other at the last moment to protect themselves.
Yeah, it's one of those 50-50 calls, and it's gone the way of Heppel, who everything he's done this afternoon has been damaging, and he's kicked 4.
They were both going for the ball in the last moment. As you do, you just went, oh, there's someone there.
Probably got a touch on.
Probably looks worse for the bloke coming this way, because the guy with the flight, and then if you brace and jump into the guy running back with the flight, looks worse, do you reckon, or no?
Maybe. It's a fair point.
Both at ground level, effectively.
That's the contact. The free kick was paid to Heppel. It was Hartley that took the mark on the wing, drove the ball deep inside 50, and Heppel running back with the flight. There's the contact. Not sure it was there, but the free kick was paid, and Heppel's playing the game of his life.
Heppel, Essendon.
And again.
Continues. 7 goals to 3 since quarter time. Heppel puts it into attack. Bagley from behind. Almost created the spoil. Well done, Lachlan Street. 23rd man for the Tigers. Takes the relieving mark in his 10th VFL game. Kick is high, wide, and does no favours for Naish.
There are a couple of Richmond players that are just playing finals footy for the first time. They've just looked a little shaky on occasions. There's been some fumbles, some missed targets, and for the first time probably this year they haven't looked like the Richmond side.
And Curvis, Naish, Menadue try and generate something, and some overlap run finally as well. Menadue's kicked to space. Coleman Jones gallops after it. He's about to have some company. Got the bounce when he needed it in front of Marshall. Flipped it back wanting Butler, and Morris got neither. Morris paddles forward. What can English create? Had a run up but couldn't get it cleanly. Flipping it like he had his socks still on was Butler. English back to find it. And there's another 30 seconds to sum up the game so far. Well done. Great commitment from Garthwaite to relieve.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just a couple of missed handballs, some fumbles below the knees.
Street stripped of it, trying to make something happen. Day, kick on the bounce taken by McIntosh. Little give to Naish. He's looking for options. The Bombers trying to ramp the pressure even more. Collier Dawkins drives it inside 50. Chol's got position at the back. He can run into an open goal. Tigers get one back.
Great stuff.
Well, they're going to need some magic from someone, and I think Mabior Shoal is the only guy that can get Richmond off the canvas. He's kicked 2, he's done some ruck work, but he's looked lively up there. Good kick from Collier Dawkins just to identify all the space out in front of him.
10 touches from Mabior Shoal.
Warning, Essendon. It's a warning to Essendon, 666, okay? Thank you. Yep.
Throw it up.
10 touches,
Boys,
12
I'll throw it up,
hit-outs.
okay? The 666 warning. Righto, we're set, boys. Thanks, good.
In case you've been on a European holiday since February, that is the 6-6 rule being put in place. Coleman Jones in the ruck, down to Townsend, but again, no space. Trent Minott
Thanks, boys. Let
clever
him up,
enough to
please.
trail
Straight
him
up.
into the contest and
Good
know
stuff.
that
Thanks,
Townsend is a clearance bull,
Thanks, Russ.
affording him no space whatsoever. Coleman Jones protects the spot. Minott emerges with a footy. Myers, almost for Bagley, the fist from Caulfield. McIntosh under pressure. Coleman Jones marked but couldn't go. But Menadue feeding off him, fans it wider. English marks in front of Aylett, who just did well to stand right on the line of infringing and holding him up. English kicks deep. Moore and Chol set themselves D again.
So gutsy. He'd be loving this against his former club.
Myers puts it out in front of Lant. McIntosh arrives. And it finds the line. So margin of 33 points is Craig McRae's team, finishing minor premiers for the second straight year. 16-2. They went out in straight sets after finishing top last year.
Butler and Art's been very quiet, well held this afternoon. They need to try and spark something, generate some goals, some work inside forward 50.
Lant, tackled by McIntosh.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff. Thanks, mate.
Plenty of talent and experience in this Richmond lineup.
Keep the meter.
Who's going to set them alight? Coleman Jones fashions a kick. Dale Marshall in the way, takes the grab. To Myers. He's got Zirk Thatcher on the switch. It hangs a little for Chol. He got himself to the front.
He's so athletic. There wouldn't have been many big men that could have got to that contest.
Wheels and goes from 52. Launches towards the square. Great effort. Tynan across to fist it through.
Big play from the veteran in his 101st VFL match. What a return it's been from those concussion issues that we thought had put an end to his VFL time. McNeese, again, wants to go right down the middle of the Swinburne centre. Hartley flew. Heppel has been in everything and gets free of Collier Dawkins to McKenna. He skies one. McIntosh and Caulfield, they almost confuse each other. Lant there, couldn't be clean. McIntosh gathered it while lying on his back. And Essendon are maybe one more major away from breaking the Tiger resistance. Coleman Jones, McKenna rushed onto it. Aylett flipped it wide. Tynan puts it into attack. Athletic work, and Bagley will have to see this to the line. And that was a heavy landing for Matt Day, the 23rd man for the Bombers.
Been a quiet afternoon for Day, just the 3 disposals coming off a couple of goals last week versus Geelong. Young man in his 3rd VFL game of footy.
Coleman Jones, hacked out of the air by Minott. Menadue under pressure from Unan. And Lant makes sure he gets to the line.
Marty, you right?
Yeah, mate.
So played 13 and a half minutes.
Thanks, mate.
A little bit of breeze still blowing to the southern end, the Brunton Avenue end of the ground. Really healthy crowd. Enjoying a beautiful day in Melbourne. Townsend, quick kick. Gains a little bit of territory and maybe now something for the Tigers. Can Butler get the hands free? Only partly. Houlihan got in the way. Butler goes again, feeds it forward. Mize will get onto it. It's got some support at the back from D. D over the head of Guccione. He's got a little bit of time. Weller managed to get a hand on it towards half forward. Miller had the jumper tucked. Play on the call. Union tries to feed it through traffic to Bagley. Back to Union. That was clever. The veteran for the finish.
Danny Union with the classy finish. He kicked the first goal of the game, just spat forward of that contest. Again, it was Essendon winning the 50-50 ball, and Union kicks his second. Extends the margin to 38 points.
Comes the Bombers' fourth multiple goal kicker. The Tigers have just got 4 goal kickers.
Now things are starting to get more difficult for Richmond.
And all the more impressive, Toby Nankervis, an AFL Premiership ruckman, staring down young Riley Bowman in his 10th VFL match, and Michael Hartley, who's a makeshift ruckman at best, but they've had the Air Force and they've had the ground support to go with it, the Bombers. Laguda, he emerges. He'll go over the head of Begley and McIntosh, who's slid into defence after spending time sort of wing and half back in recent weeks. Comes corridor for Caulfield, enjoying the finest of his VFL season so far. Has to step through Union. He's got Weller wide. We'll get to him now off hands. He's got overlap as well. Kicks it high for Butler, who was almost ready to hit the accelerator but saw McNeese. So again, the Tigers forced into slow play. Pickett. What's he got coming at him? Kicks it centrally and does well. Ross couldn't mark. Bombers have numbers. Ross nearly the hold on Laguda. Does well to turn it back into a 50-50.
There's a good change of angles from Pickett. He feigned to go down the line, then cut back into the corridor, and Ross should have taken that.
The Tiger Jake King watching on.
High contact. Arm came through.
Free kick to Trent Minor. Been important. 14 touches.
One of our work colleagues, Jakey King. Early VFL days.
Indeed. Here's Pickett. Delivers inside 50. Moore up went one-handed. Good recovery. Pumps under handball. And Butler goals.
Dan Butler, one of a few 2017 Premiership players out there with the finish. They need more from him. He's the X factor in this third and fourth quarter that can bring Richmond back into the game.
So 3 goals apiece in the quarter as we're joined by Bombers Heath Hocking. Heath, this start was exactly what you wanted, and you've been able to match Richmond in this term. What was the focus coming out of halftime of what you wanted to continue to do in the third?
It was pretty much what we did at the start of the game. We tried, they like to switch it and use the fat side of the ground, so for us it was stopping that. We're happy to go to the contest with them. I like to chain it out of the contest, so making sure that we're up on them, we're blitzing them and things like that. So that's all we've got to do, and it's a process-driven sort of quarter and next half.
Hock, what you spoke about just then, do you think the wind and the conditions have played into your advantage this afternoon?
At times, like even against the wind, I thought we moved the ball pretty well, making sure we took those hit-ups and getting it deep. If we can get it deep to the sort of the goal line, we're pretty dangerous.
Heath, what about what you can draw on from your past finals campaigns? Was there some extra motivation or even confidence about what this group has done regardless of its ladder position each September?
We come into some good form going into finals, but it wasn't so the case this year. But for us, it was knowing that we have performed at finals level, and obviously the game against Richmond last year, we sort of didn't draw too much on that because they're different teams, different players. But for us, it's just making sure we're sticking to that process.
Aaron Heppel's been a star for a long time in the VFL. Have you seen him put a better 2.5 quarters together? He's got 4.
Not really, but I think for him, he's taken on the captaincy this year, and it was really part of his growth as a player and as a person. I think he's really relished it, and as you can see today, he's playing quite well.
We'll let you get back to the action, Heath. Thanks for your time.
No worries, guys. Thank you.
Heath Hocking joining us from the Bombers.
Quite
Tremendous
well,
access.
he reckons. He's a harsh judge. He's the best man on the ground.
4 and 2.5 quarters.
Naish to Nankervis. He launches it inside 50. Coleman Jones has been a big presence all day. Oh, gee, that was a good effort. They came from all sides. 3 Richmond players thundered into each other. It's going to be a Richmond mark. It's going to Marlon Pickett. 3 Tigers just hurled themselves at that football, and the smallest man ended up with it.
Well, that's the commitment you want to see. Marlon Pickett, every player not taking his eyes off the ball. I don't know how Pickett ended up taking that grab. That is brilliant. And
has he actually seen the ball at any point before marking it?
Wow.
Unbelievable. Could this be the moment that provides some spark for the Tigers? Can Pickett go back and kick his second for the term? He has!
He never saw that.
You won't see better marks than that.
Tell you what, they're 1 goal away from being right back in it too. That was an unbelievable mark.
Well, you won't see a better mark than that. You'll see some more spectacular, but that's just crazy courage. Marlon Pickett running back with the flight. I didn't think he'd even get to the contest, let alone take the mark. Super courageous, went back, more importantly, kicked the goal, and all of a sudden, Richmond back in the contest.
Marlon Pickett coming up big in the 3rd quarter. He's had 5 touches and 2 goals to start getting his team moving. The other man who's been a presence is that man in shot, Toby Nankervis. He's had 7 possessions and 4 clearances in the quarter so far. Richmond 4 goals to 3 in the term. Nankervis tries to follow up, flicking a boot at it. Townsend, Arts, trying to get himself involved. Heppel is involved. Minot crunched off to Myers. Leading possession getter on the ground, puts the Bombers into attack again. And they just keep finding answers as Houlihan marks. Will take his best. Option is Marshall. He takes the responsibility. High ball, it'll get to the line. Hartley in best position. Seen over by Miller. Margin on a knife edge at 27.
Yeah, really important moments right now, aren't they? If Essendon can quash the resistance once again, they've got 1 foot in a preliminary final. If the Tigers can kick the next one, get somewhere around that 20-point mark, heading for the final change, they'll firmly believe that they're a chance.
Level here, right? Move it on. Play on.
Tight in their back pocket. Kicks it long. Chol, Nankervis, Bowman all there. Spills to ground level. Nankervis won it, but it's taken by Long. Long will launch towards the pocket. It'll clear the contest.
Throw that in.
So 27 the margin.
Hold up, John. Hold up.
Into time on in this 3rd term.
Michael, you're up.
Richmond trailed by 25 before they'd even scored. Since then, it's been pretty much an even contest. The Bombers go hunting once again. Bagley on the bottom of that contest. Morris wraps him up. It spills out. Umpire was about to call a stoppage. Street couldn't quite control it. It's still there. Heppel, dangerous spot. Egmalesi Smith, then eventually he'll concede.
He's been lively across the half-back line for Richmond this afternoon. Egmalesi Smith with the 15 disposals.
Ben Rutten and Dylan Shield on screen. Ben Rutten, of course, currently a Bombers assistant, but was with the Tigers. Heppel chopped it off and claims the mark on Weller. And he will kick for his 5th before three-quarter time. What a captain's game he's having.
Oh, is there nothing this man can't do this afternoon?
Well, we saw him play one of the great finals against Footscray at Port Melbourne a couple of years back. And it was almost the launching pad for what has been a brilliant tenure in the VFL since. Heppel sends this far right. Hartley and Begley there. Hartley with the mark.
Held the mark.
Lads, 10 metres.
2 bites of the cherry, and the Richmond defenders will be bitterly disappointed with that effort.
You've got to come out 10 metres.
Michael Hartley kicked goals in the second and third quarters so far. We've lauded him time and time again for his kicking, usually over a distance. This requires the utmost precision to once again answer back as Richmond try and muster a comeback. Loves it. Hartley's got himself 3.
Straight down the square, thanks, mate.
As a defender, you can never have the luxury of assuming, and everyone assumed that the Heppel shot at goal would go straight. It slew up the side of the boot, and Hartley was the man that launched it. Was it off hands? There might have been a little touch there from the Richmond defender, but he got a big enough chunk for the umpire to pay the mark, and he's now got 3.
As they've done all afternoon, the Bombers respond once again, marching back out to 34 points. Tynan slaps it back towards the middle. English in one direction, Lant the other. Spins through a tackle, pumps it wide. Day worked under it by Igmalesi Smith. Hartley couldn't control the bounce, but gets the football now. Ross came in with the tackle. Townsend, Igmalesi Smith, English. Bouncing football, awkward again. D at the back, read it nicely. McNeese heads to the corridor. It needed to be a good kick, and it was. Aylett took it. He'll launch to 50 once again. Coming out is Hocking in front position. Punched away by Morris. At ground level, a chance for McKenna. He can't control it. Garthwaite goes in hard. He's wrapped up by Heppel. And a bounce. 35 out from the Essendon goal. They lead by 34 points. Dying stages of the third term. This is the first qualifying final. Another game so far this afternoon. Williamstown have beaten Footscray. They're through to the prelim. Footscray to play the winner of Geelong and Port next week.
Good stuff, boys. Up for me. Well done.
Omen on the bottom of that contest.
The hunger around the appetite that Essendon brought right from the opening bounce, it hasn't gone away. They've continued to maintain the rage.
Bowman slapped that one forward. Laguda went to ground, keeps it alive. Eunan bullocks his way free, but coughs it up. Townsend, his kick's a tumbler. And again, Matt D, it's his 4th intercept mark of the day so far.
Yeah, he's done a real number on Callum Moore this afternoon. Kept him to 3 disposals, yet he's having a huge impact himself.
Bombers' older types have been crucial. Aylett into attack, huge fist from Garthwaite. Turner at the fall. Combines with Menadue. They cannot find a way out. Essendon will lock it in their forward half once again. Tynan instinctively comes straight off his line, pushes the kick into attack. Hartley tries to work his way through Miller. McKenna stood up in the tackle. Eunan navigates some space, snaps and kicks a final special.
Eunan, 3 to Hartley.
Unreal.
Not one of those blokes played forward last week, did they? Hartley played. He was in the AFL.
Heppel kicked one.
Yeah, but he didn't play forward.
Yeah,
Eunan didn't play at all.
This is a very different looking Essendon side to the one we saw last week against the Cats. Danny Eunan, he loves September. He can produce some miracle finishes. We've seen it in the past. He's been superb. 3 goals from him. Hartley's now got 3. 4 to the captain, Heppel.
10 goals. We said at the start of the day, Brandy, they need to keep fashioning goals as their personnel changes in their attack each week. Well, today it's worked. 10 from those 3 guys. None of them played forward last week.
Hartley was a late call-up into the AFL side when
Unit didn't play because he was sore.
Unit was rested and Heppel kicked a goal, but he was playing as a midfielder. And
Long towards Hartley again, punched away. Ground level, awkward one for Naish. Nicely taken by Aylett. He bounces it forward. Hocking leaves a path for Union, turns inside. What's he got? McKenna, look out! Solid tackle from Pickett. And Liam McKenna's been in the wars this afternoon. He's given some and worn some.
Would have loved to have seen another Danny Union snap across his body then.
Yeah, you could almost read his mind. He thought 4 or give it off. He went the unselfish route. Coleman Jones worked it to Turner, but again it's staying locked in. Long sends it high. Hocking will stay down as it comes off the fist of Hartley.
So they've just been completely outplayed this afternoon, Richmond. You go back and look at their season. They've only lost 2 games. Round 9 to North Melbourne and round 14 to Footscray. They simply don't put in performances like this very often.
Different kettle of fish that is. Finals comes again. Essendon came in having lost 4 of their past 5. Richmond 16-2 on the season, had been simply untouchable. And Ali Blackburn, the breeze has been a theme of this game all day. What's it doing as we head to 3/4 time?
It's still there, the breeze. I'm definitely feeling the cold down here. And Richmond will have it in the last quarter. As the temperature starts to drop, the breeze is still picking up. So they should have a slight breeze in that last quarter.
Just need to get their hands on the football, the Tigers, as Myers launches another high bomb inside 50. Garthwaite with the punch away. Laguda wrapped up by Turner, so he slaps it loose. Here's Union again, feeling it in the 3rd term. Long, he's taken down by Townsend. Arts goes crashing in on Minot. Arts then gets to his feet, dishes it off to Collier Dawkins. He fashions a kick and finds Chol. They stream forward to provide an option. Weller next in line. We've gone 31.5 minutes. Weller inside 50. Chol sets his feet. Couldn't quite bring it down. Arts tries to spin through traffic. They take him down in number. And that sums up Essendon's performance this afternoon.
It does, because Jakey Arts, great attack on the footy. He won it, but he has not been afforded an inch this afternoon because he's so damaging. Matt D, again, if he's not taking intercept marks and doing courageous spoils, he's buttering up at ground level with his tackling pressure.
Coleman Jones, been one of the few Tiger winners so far. Brilliant from Lant. Clearance, kick, and then downfield free kick for a dangerous throw tackle.
Danny, you got to bring the footy back round.
So you hear the umpire instructing Union to bring it back.
Danny's kick.
He's got McKenna screaming for it in the corridor here, Union. He takes off, audacious play. Hartley, surrounded by Tigers, forces Tynan to do some work. He's set upon. Well done from Ross, at least to see it to the line and out. So margin at quarter time, 14, at the half, 31. As we head for the 3/4 time siren, Essendon are in the box seat to bounce straight into a preliminary final after finishing 12-6 on the season.
Coleman, Jones and Bowman smothered off the Tigers' boot. Ross and Long. So they're 1/4 away from the top 2 teams, the home finalists, both losing in week 1 in the qualifying final.
Finals throw up some funny results, but we saw this exact scenario last year. Williamstown came to Punt Road to take on top of the table Richmond and got rolled that night when the lights went out.
Will they have done it again today against Footscray at the Whitten Oval? They're through to the prelim final. Coleman Jones, quick kick towards half forward. Chol and Zerk Thatcher see it out as we tick over 33.5 minutes in the other game. Down at, there's the final score. Confirmation, Williamstown through by 13 points. And in the other game, it's Port by 17 points at 3/4 time. That one's an elimination final. Again, you'd think Port, the underdog in that one. The Cats entering in white-hot form. What a weekend of footy so far. in the VFL final series. Weller emerges from the congestion, drills it inside 50. Markov can't quite. Guccione tapped it to himself, completed the mark. And as we hit the 34-minute mark of the third term, the Bombers will be happy to just play it safe, keep it tidy. Tynan does exactly that to Myers.
No rush here for the veteran. His 26th touch of the afternoon. Hartley, what a presence he is. And what a luxury for Dan Jordan. Put him where you like. 34 minutes of fun for the Bombers. They lead at three-quarter time.
Riding their team off early.
Final term of the qualifying final. Essendon by 40 points. Collier Dawkins goes hunting the football with Long for company. Minot picks it up. He's immediately taken down in a tackle as well.
Well, the mindset of the Essendon players, it does change a little bit. You don't continue just to play the way that you had, because you're up by 40 points, you're kicking into the wind, so it's all about taking territory.
Laguda, Nankervis. For the Tigers, it's just got to be full throttle attack here.
Yep.
Pickett goes hunting it. Arts is there as well. Jake Long receives some praise at three-quarter time. Heppel gets it to Myers. That one will hold up in the breeze. Beckley will go against McIntosh. McIntosh with the fist. Houlihan couldn't control it. Pressure came from Menadue. McIntosh in as well.
Essendon don't need to take any risks at all, whereas Richmond need to continue to take the game on every chance they get.
Let's find out about the messaging in the Richmond huddle. Ali, you were there at three-quarter time. What did Craig McRae have to say?
He was pretty clear in his message that now is the time to be brave, and they do want to change the angles of their movement by kicking it off the line and not just down the ground. So they'll look to move it through the corridor, switch the play and run in numbers and work together as a team.
Thanks, Ali.
They've been the best side in the VFL for the best part of 3 seasons, and they've got nothing to show for it.
Mention it, 32 of 38 wins in the home and away season. And right now, a fourth straight finals loss, throwing in the 2017 grand final to go with it as well. Pickett trying to turn the tide, just overcooks the kick, and Jake Long was lauded in the three-quarter time huddle by Dan Jordan. He continues his work to hit up Bagley, and now they can pick off some options, and look at them, Heppel in space again. Well, he's steady and shoot for 5. He'll chip for Union, and Pickett is a one-man wrecking crew at the moment for the Tigers.
He's gone back to half-back. He kicked those 2 goals in the third quarter, but they want his drive and creativity off the half-back line.
So Thatcher mauled by Coleman Jones.
Toby. Straight up.
It's Jack Ross. Couldn't quite control it the first time. Minot puts his body in, as does Heppel and Collier Dawkins. Heppel a little slow to get up. Gets this one.
Line on 15.
Pokes it through the traffic. Awkward for Igmalesi Smith, and he's immediately tackled. Begley just tries to rip it out of his arms. Union lurking, he's been dangerous. Minot on the deck. Did he reef it back in?
Pull up.
Ball up right on 50.
Same again.
Curvis and Bowman. And Curvis the tap again. Heppel goes hunting it. Ross just sets upon him. Naish tries to release it. Nankervis does. It was good hands. He got it to Ross, and finally they can clear the zone.
Numbers down the line, 2-on-2 contest. Townsend at the front, reported earlier on. Coleman Jones, what a pickup from the big man. Can only generate enough to get it to Zerk Thatcher. Chopped off Townsend. It's a rare look at it. Needs to finish. Pops it over the top. Butler fumbles and goals. Richmond gets him air in the lungs. If the moment presents, seeing how it goes, let's talk Heppel AFL again, because he's doing everything that says.
How old is he?
Not going to look out of place in jumper. Play next year.
24.
25-year-old. Same age as Gibbons.
Is he just a bit slow?
Contest.
Averaging 20 touches, 5 clearances, 6 tackles a game. So he'd have to play inside, you'd think. Is he? Or Pressure forward.
Richmond swoop, get a much-needed goal here to start off this last quarter. Unselfish remarks over the top. Butler's kicked a couple in the second half. They need more of that.
Marching back to 34. Can the Tigers string together consecutive goals and start to build a bit of momentum? Nankervis, handball a little fierce there for Weller. And once again, it's Aaron Heppel. And what a game he's played. 22 possessions, 4 goals.
It's been absolutely superb, hasn't he? He just continues to improve year to year and rise to the occasion. Plays his best footy in finals, which is a great attribute to have.
Mine, it's been good. This is Menadue. He launches it inside 50 again for the Tigers. Townsend's gone forwards. Hitting at speed was Arts. That was brilliant. Oh, what a goal.
Two goals in 30 seconds. Art's instrumental in the first one and a clever snap on that occasion.
How good was that?
Yeah, and he's been unsighted this afternoon, just the 6 disposals. That just breathes a little bit of life back into this contest.
If you're left to come back, over 3,000 here at the Swinburne Centre today, and Richmond all of a sudden believe again. Nankervis to the outside, Ross. Can those AFL listed legs take over? Coleman Jones, he's been colossal. Gets it on the third bite low down.
Straight up. Thanks, boys.
Well,
this is the one.
They
10 metres, please.
have belief. They've come from behind many times this year. They'll have superior fitness because of the amount of AFL listed players on the ground, and this is a massive moment. 5
contested marks today for Callum Coleman-Jones. The question mark is his goal kicking. 9-15 in the VFL this season. Simply must put this onto platform 6 at Richmond Station, and does. 3 in a row, Tigers.
And that was the one, Brownie, because suddenly now, forget everything that's happened in the past in this game. 7 minutes gone last quarter, 22 points. That's suddenly manageable.
Well, it's 3 goals in a minute, basically, which is exactly what they needed. And it hasn't come about because Essendon have put the cue in the rack. It's just been...
Nankervis has been huge,
The Tigers have finally started to win some clearances, win some contested footy, get the ball forward to their forwards one-on-one. You've got to feel sorry for some of the forwards today because, yes, they've had low numbers, and I've been saying how a lot of them have been quiet, but they've been competing against so many Essendon players all afternoon. When you get it in there quick, one-on-one, you give them a chance to beat their direct opponent. They've done it.
Margin back to 22 points. Some big clearances to win here. Myers goes in to try and win it. Here's Heppel. Tried to break free, couldn't, and gone.
Momentum's a funny thing in football.
And this qualifying final is alive once again.
Time on, stay out.
Suddenly the pressure's on Essendon.
Hold it. Play on.
Weller. He'll launch it long. Put the defence under pressure once again. Oh, it's at the back of the contest. Couldn't take it cleanly.
He's dropped an uncontested mark.
Ball's still alive. Myers to Tynan. Tynan a high ball. Morris across the front. And you'll get a free kick for a push.
That ball cleared the pack. Townsend at the back wasn't expecting it. It's hit him in the chest.
Off to Menadue. He takes the running shot, but he's dragged it left. But it is all Richmond right now. So from an Essendon perspective, if you're Dan Jordan, if you're the Essendon leaders, what are you saying right now?
Composed possession. They've hardly been able to get their hands on the footy for the last 3 or 4 minutes. They've got a 21-point lead. 10 minutes gone in this last quarter. They just need to take some time off the clock.
Sydney Stack watching on as Toby Nankervis is getting himself involved big time. Inboard for Weller. He may have the leg to go the distance. He'll push it into the pocket. Coleman, Jones and Choller there in tandem. It bobbles around and eventually through from behind. Brownie, the golf statistically is contested ball and handballs. It's 12-4 handballs, 14-7 contested ball in the quarter.
And that's been the area that Essendon have been able to match them for 3 quarters. Finally, they're just starting to get this game played on their terms.
McNeice tries to take some territory into the breeze. Nankervis again has been everywhere in this last term. Now maybe a chance for the Dons to get it and go. Unan sold his man into trouble. And Bagley's taken down, and once again the Essendon pressure, the Richmond pressure rather, is going to see it go back inside 50.
Once Steve Morris gets you in his sights, good luck getting out of that grip.
Morris kicks it long inside 50 once again. Big pack underneath this one. Hits the deck. Bombers have got numbers. McNeice needs an outlet target. Morris did well again. Bagley, a slight fumble. Nankervis arrives to wrap him up, and once again they won't let Essendon wriggle out of their own back half.
Thanks, boys. Good stuff.
Great effort from the skipper in Morris. First, he brushed past Heppels, Shepherd, the tackle, then this spoil, shut down the exit kick. As much momentum as the Tigers have, it can be snuffed out by a quick goal here from Essendon.
Hartley, Bagley, McKenna, fist from McIntosh towards the line. Diving hand pass, can the Bombers clear it? No, a coat hanger.
Careful, straight up now. Straight up now, free kick, Essendon.
Caulfield clears the throat of McKenna.
I'm Minto, mate, say that.
Gee, he's worn something today, Liam McKenna, hasn't he? Welcome back to the VFL.
Yes, hardly played for the last 3 months.
First game since round 9.
Copped a barrage.
The tough head to go with it. WA native. Day pushed under the ball by McIntosh. His fist as good as a kick. Pickett is lightning and electric. Works his way through a couple. Can just get boot to ball. Put it into attack again. Townsend through hands. D stayed upright. He's got pressure though on him. Child can gather. Oh, Butler rushes through. Wriggles through the tackle. Taps the accelerator. And here come 3-1. 2-1.
The work from Pickett in the middle of the ground was superb. Got the ball in there, and like I mentioned just before, give your forwards an opportunity to be able to compete one-on-one. Essendon have had opportunity all afternoon to drop numbers back, numerical advantage, but they competed, it wasn't perfect. And Dan Butler came flying through, broke the tackle, and made a certainty of it. Game on. It's amazing, this Richmond side looks so different when Arts and Butler are getting involved, crumbing goals, setting some up.
Inside 50's 9-1 for the quarter. It has been all Richmond. They trailed by 40 points at the final change. The margin now 14 points. We've played 12 minutes. Bombers need a steadier. Collier Dawkins put his head over it.
Toby Nankervis, Richmond.
And Nankervis is having a massive last quarter.
This will test their managed game time. If you leave him on to play the whole last quarter, he could be the difference. Oh,
Big man didn't know his limitations there. He took Heppel on, but fortunately Caulfield was there. Great mark by Weller. He can get it and go. He launches inside 50. Choll at the back. It'll spill to the front. English comes through. Wonderful tackle. Stopped him dead in his tracks. Pressure on the Essendon defence. That was David Myers with the goal-saving tackle.
You're up. Riley, you're up.
well, having Marvia Scholl behind you in a long ball, that'd be a nightmare for a defender.
Butler off hands and snaps a goal! It's an 8-point game!
It's been a decade of dynasties and fairy tales. On a very special game day, we look back on all the magic moments, the dramas, the news stories, and when things went wrong. We count down the best marks and goals.
That's what the crowd wanted!
As well as the greatest games and the best players. Who will be number one? Game day, moments of the decade.
The Tigers have kicked 5 goals in 13 minutes to come from 40 points down. It's an 8-point game, and suddenly you feel like they are the favourites.
Oh, Butler delivering this crowd an absolute beauty again. A goal out of nothing. And the Richmond faithful that are halfway down Punt Road have turned around and they're coming back. You should charge them re-entry fee.
There's more to come. Free kick, Nankervis. A free kick, Coleman Jones.
Back to the 6-6-6.
Quick, boys, back to 6-6-6.
6-6-6.
Go back to 6-6-6.
Stay in the square.
Go. Thanks, boys.
Reset.
One in the square. Thanks, boys.
Because Essendon had numbers streaming into the defence to try and hold things up. They've now got to run back to the other end of the ground.
So players repositioned. Umpires do a quick head count.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. On set. Okay. Let's go.
Free kick to Coleman
They should
Jones.
just pump this in as quick as possible.
And somehow they generate uncontested possession from that stop play. Turner can send it deep. Confusion reigns in the Essendon defence. Suddenly Chol, he's come to life, lost his footing in the shade. Richmond, 5 goals in 9 minutes and 4 seconds. Dan Butler has 3 of them. He's got a career-high 4 goals at VFL level. And he's been one of the spark plugs for the Tigers.
Things just starting to unravel for this disciplined Essendon side.
At the back, it's Weller now. He misses. Margin at 7, but the clock is almost irrelevant right now. Richmond is scoring at will.
Jake Long with the kick in. Just have not been able to get it in their half of the ground and hold it there.
They've hardly got the ball forward of centre, Essendon, in this quarter.
Long into the breeze. Zerk Thatcher's his man. Arriving late was Morris. McKenna tidied it up. Bounced it to Eunan. He's under some pressure. Gets away from Pickett. Look at Morris. Come like a missile across your screen. Kicks to the wing. Day couldn't hang on. Street looks to slap it to Collier Dawkins. Handball fed out behind Day. Egg Malessi Smith. Looks up. Wants an option at 50. Bombers have got numbers back. Important mark there to Long. Once again, he's got the same problem. How does he navigate his way through this Richmond zone? They go laterally. The switch goes to a contest. Arts across the front of Marshall. He goes to ground in the shade, but then gets up and takes Marshall down. Let's head down to Ellie Blackburn. Ellie, what a transformation in this game.
Yeah, it's been amazing by Richmond this quarter. What they have been doing is making sure they've got a forward deep setup. That way they're utilising it for whenever the breeze is obviously picking up. They can bomb it long and always have a target there at every possible opportunity moving forward.
Thanks, Ellie. 11 inside 50s to 1 in the quarter. Umpire almost set himself for the holding the ball call there.
We're going to hop straight up, guys. Good tackle.
Toby Nankervis with 6 touches, 2 clearances in this final quarter. Dan Butler, 3 possessions, 3 goals. Richmond finishing like a freight train. Hocking back there to steady things up to Marshall. Begley v Morris. Morris goes to the fists. And the Jack Dyer Sander happy, and Morris even sprints off the ground like he's in an Olympic 100-metre final.
Everything with intensity.
He's full of adrenaline. It's been a day of upset so far. Williamstown defeat Footscray at the Whitten Oval, and Port Melbourne, despite the fact the game's at home, Geelong finished higher on the ladder, and the Cats might be heading for a quick exit in the VFL finals.
3 massive upsets if the Bombers can hang on. Heppel goes inside 50. Here's their chance. Day and Garthwaite goes to ground. Garthwaite gets him.
You're not going to ever break that tackle from Ryan Garthwaite. He's got leg speed to go with the quick small forwards. He's got the height and reach to play tall.
So the Tigers have closed the gap to 7 points. This next one's the goal they're looking for to really make it just anybody's game. Right now the Bombers still sit on a lead heading towards time on. Long's kick is out on the full.
Straight to him.
And Camden McIntosh will have it.
Play on inside.
He kicks towards half forward. It's punched forward by Moore. Pickett goes to ground. It's fed backwards to English. He keeps it alive. Slick hands Menadue. Just slightly dragged off his kick. Bounces inside 50. Naish runs into Myers. Taken down and gone.
Holding the ball.
A big stop for the Bombers. They've stemmed the bleeding ever so slightly. 5 minutes without a goal here, the Tigers. David Myers, his final season as a Bomber. His 7th touch of this final quarter.
He's kicked to no one.
It's almost a kick for touch rugby style. Somehow it hugs the line. Markov made a mess of it. Bundled over the line and out. What a final quarter from the Tigers. 5-3 to nothing. They were 40 points off the Bombers at three-quarter time.
You couldn't have envisaged this. They'd struggled to kick a goal all afternoon.
But they've been ruthlessly efficient. 41 possessions, just 5 more than Essendon, have generated 12 inside 50s, 8 scoring shots, 5 goals. Mined on hands and knees. Myers kick smothered. Street can extract it and send it down the line. Through the back Pickett. What a second half he's had. Chol tried to toss it over the top. It'll beat Marshall over the line and out. Big stop for the Bombers. There's more to come. We're on the eve of quarter time. What a way to kick off the VFL final series.
If Chol got that handball over the top, they had overlap, they were away. So Guccione streaking across and just getting a hand on it was crucial.
Coleman Jones to go against Bowman. Pitches in front of both. Nicely done by Minot. Almost dragged down by Collier Dawkins. Kicks to a 2-on-2. Garthwaite gave the nudge. Umpire says it's legal. Mark paid. And once again, the Bombers on the back foot. That ball's going to be launched back inside 50 once again by Garthwaite. Right to the 50. Over the top was Guccione, and he thumped it to the line. So each of the first 3 quarters went well in excess of 30 minutes, closer to 35. So still plenty of time left, despite the fact we're entering time on in the final term. Bombers clinging to a 7-point lead. A spot in the preliminary final is up for grabs as Bowman goes at it against Chol.
Can't get it free. Laguda, lucky to get a total, but only as far as Street. The ball is living in Richmond's half. Street sends it into orbit. Zerk Thatcher climbed almost highest, couldn't gather. Long at the fall. Elected to take on Moore, and that was a horrible decision. And Callum Moore's had very little influence today.
3 disposals, Nudge.
Turns 23 on Tuesday. Only returned from an ankle injury in round 19 against the Blues. And he's finished the season really strongly. 10-8 for the year. Must kick this.
There was a superb tackle. Jake Long tried to get the kick away, couldn't. Immediately set upon from Moore, who's been really well held, but this could be the most important kick of the game.
There's a point the difference in the qualifying final.
If you continue to get the ball inside your forward 50, the defenders are under so much pressure and you create opportunities. And while Moore can't get out on the lead and take his marks, he's manufactured a goal there with his defensive work rate. We've seen some sensational goals. Arts, Butler again. And on that occasion, Callum Moore with the set shot.
Inside 50s this quarter, 14-2. Richmond have kicked 6. They've kicked 6-3 to no score. And a 40-point lead for Essendon has become a 1-point lead. 22.5 minutes gone, final term. And they win it again through Mavwella off the hands of the ruck contested inside 50. And Mabior Chol has got the chance to go back and put Richmond in front.
I can't believe what I'm seeing. This has been some sort of turnaround. 6 goals, 3, 15 inside 50s. Nankervis went into the ruck for the start of this term and just changed the game.
15 gone. 15 gone now. Thanks, boys.
He's kicked 2. He's been a great finisher all year. He's kicked 19-9. This, the biggest kick of his season to date, to put the Tigers in front. Hits the post and scores a level.
And Essendon have led this one for all 122 minutes so far. But we're back where we started. What a ride it's been to get here. McNeese takes as much ground as he can. Superb mark, Zerk Thatcher just ahead of the footy to provide them with something. Can they get him behind Richmond's transition here? It's slow from the Bombers. It's nervy. Zerk Thatcher took on Naish. Fist from Caulfield. He and Egmalesi Smith perhaps could have marked.
Well, the energy from Richmond is there. The long kick down the line by Essendon, and it's 2 Richmond defenders first to the contest, spoiling it across the line.
6 unanswered goals from the Tigers in this final quarter.
If you're Essendon, you just need to start winning the clearances again.
And Curvis feels like he's played more than was planned, but sometimes that's how these things go, Brownie, that they may have just said, you're going well, keep going.
Let the boy play. I'm sure he'll want to. He hasn't played much footy the last 3 months. He'd be loving being out there in finals time.
Richmond players sitting on the fence of the players' race there, watching on nervously. Myers, quick little kick forward. Who's going to own the big moments here? Union takes the mark. Nearly wanted to pass it off. There's still a kick away at least. Houlihan went skyward. Richmond at the drop. Naish, Ross wriggles through the tackle. Releases by hand. Weller under pressure, double grabs.
What do you think? Deliberate out of bounds.
Oh, massive call!
It was the Mav Weller just handballed towards the boundary line.
The Essendon fans were raucous in front of the umpire. The fist from Garthwaite at the full. Aylett. What are his options? Myers, kick smothered. A rare entry into attack here for the Bombers.
Weller goes hunting the football. Quick kick forward inside 50. McIntosh couldn't complete the mark. It's still alive. Scooped out. Heppel tried to spin through the tackle. Play on the call. Aylett, he's run down. Thumping hit. Ran into 2 Tigers. It's still alive. Long. Next. In line, Laguda delivers inside 50, slapped away from McIntosh. Frenetic finals football, high kick in the air, it's not 15. Garthwaite punched away by Union, spills to Caulfield. He flips a handball over the top. Union puts more pressure on. It's still there for the Tigers. And finally they get it outside 50.
You don't reckon these boys know what's at stake?
Guccione to send it back. It's going to drop short for Aylett. He's got it again. Wheels and goes, hands it off. Tynan needs an option inside 50. What's he got? It spills. Bagley has a look, steps inside, goes for goal. Kicks an absolute beauty!
Out of nowhere, Mark Bagley, who's announced his retirement during the week in what's been a sensational career for the Essendon Footy Club, finds a way. Sells some candy, throws it on the right boot. Difficult shot and gives him the go-ahead goal. That is brilliant from the veteran. Every moment in that passage of play, Jace, was a great call by you. 90 seconds of frenetic, intense football.
So Mark Bagley with 2. This Johnny-come-lately forward that he is, grafted a career as a defender, first in the VFL at Frankston, 134 AFL games, 74 today at VFL level. That was his 34th and undoubtedly most important and best VFL goal. Have Richmond got one more surge in them? Nankervis bullocks his way free, Pickett out the front of the clearance and rushes free. Kick's not the best, it tumbles its way through all sorts of hands. Troll athletic, wanting arts. He can't get free, stays upright but stopped eventually.
Doesn't the psychology of the game just change?
Does now.
Minute by minute, suddenly it's Essendon back in front and Richmond a little deflated.
Absolutely, and they hadn't looked like kicking a goal this whole quarter, and a little bit of individual brilliance from Mark Bagley.
This is a man they don't want trotting to the bench for a blood rule. Jake Arts, see the gash over his right eye there. He would be the man they want lurking around this forward 50 stoppage that's about to be created. So 7 goals so far in the final quarter. As we mentioned before, terms have gone 30, 35 and 34. They've been long quarters.
What is it with these 2 teams? Every single time we've seen them play over the last 4, it's come down to the absolute wire.
The pulsating semi-final of Northport last year repeated again. Pickett for his 3rd against the boundary, surely not misses.
Important point.
Ball back into the hands of the Bombers, but a chance for Richmond to win it back and get the lead.
The defensive zone needs to be spot on here for this kick in. It's too early, you would think, for Essendon to try and play for time. They just need to get the ball out of their defensive half.
Again, McNeish comes to the punt road side of the ground. Menadue underneath, a good effort from Matt Day to get across and get it to the line.
It was all he needed to do. Been a quiet day at the office, but every single contest critical now.
Essendon by 40 points at three-quarter time. Tigers came storming back, levelled the scores, haven't yet got in front. Nankervis into the path of Pickett. Both have been enormous in this last quarter, as is Heppel all day.
Yeah, I wouldn't be leaving Pickett's side at the moment. He looks like he could be the guy from a stoppage that does something.
He's had 8 in the last quarter. Nankervis and Weller 7 apiece. So good around the clearances, getting it forward time and time again for the Tigers. Again, Nankervis to Pickett was the play. Collier Dawkins there as well. Pickett goes hunting once again. Bagley takes on one, takes on two, quick release. Egmalesi Smith. He tries to feed it through. High kick inside 50, towards the pocket. Bombers there in numbers, and Zirk Thatcher smashes it to the line.
Brandon Zirk Thatcher got an AFL debut in recent weeks. What can he do here to stop this Richmond thrust? 6 goals to 1 in the final quarter. Can they find something here, the Tigers? Nankervis flips it down. What have they got? Into space. Turner, Collier Dawkins flips a boot at it. Surely not. A point. Margin at 4. We're through 30.5 minutes of one of the great VFL finals.
McNeish again. What a job he's had in the last quarter to do the kick-ins. Time and time again, just looking for something. And again, he'll take that same play long to the back flank. Nankervis is there waiting for it once again. Bagley puts his body on the line. McIntosh hunts it at ground level, feeds it out. Menadue tries to take some territory. And Long stands tall once again, looks to be cramping up.
Been good again today, Jake Long.
Bombers happy to slow the tempo. High ball that'll hang in the breeze. Bagley important, got it to ground. And Noonan will take it.
He was just a little bit clumsy there from Caulfield.
You get your right to take a kick or not? You right? Time's off. Take your time.
You just need to
Right?
kick this long down the line as close to the boundary line as possible.
Play on. Me.
And that's what he does. Noonan short to Heppel. So now they go into conservation mode.
Absolutely, 32 minutes nearly completed. You've got possession of the football.
Tigers.
Free kick.
Richmond free kick. Off the ball. Down went Nankervis. I think it was against McKenna.
You through Marty or not?
And suddenly the Tigers have got it. They'll go quickly inside 50. Egmalesi Smith off the hands of the contest. Front and centre is Turner. Quick handball back. Menadue wants his right boot. Gets through Noonan. Straightens up to the top of the square, and it's marked by Zirk Thatcher.
Huge mark from Zirk Thatcher.
Clock at 32, margin 4. Essendon holding on to this one. Nankervis brought it to the front. Heppel only as far as Egmalesi Smith. Kicks the required distance. Huge fist over the top, Guccione. Haven't some of Essendon's young defenders come up big today?
Zirk Thatcher, Day, Natty D. Guccione on occasions in this last quarter has been big.
Don't hold, don't block.
This tap needs to go over the back into some space. Get one of the dangerous Richmond forwards doing a little wraparound and a block.
Menadue trying to get through it. Worked its way into the hands of Nankervis. He was taken high.
Oh, wow! From the ruck contest. The big Nank can go back and give Richmond the lead for the first time this afternoon.
130 minutes plus of football. Essendon have led for just about all of it. We were tied early, we've been tied late. And Toby Nankervis, his season cut in half virtually by adductor issues and soreness in the last few weeks. Had a handful of VFL games 2/3 of the way through the season. This is meant to be a tune-up. There's bigger things on the line. Nankervis starts it right, works it left.
He's got it!
And gets it home, the big man! Toby time. Tiger time at the Swinburne Centre. Richmond hit the ton and hit the front.
Just that ruck contest. Hartley was the man. Nankervis got front position, took it out of the ruck, and the hand did go up around the shoulder. The free kick was there. And the big Nank, with everything on the line, goes back and allows the wind to do what it's done all afternoon.
People in the crowd turning to us and saying, how long? We don't know. It's a count-up clock. We don't know either.
One of the great VFL comebacks. They were gone at three-quarter time.
Richmond, warning, no free kick. Yeah, you're in now. Yep. Okay. Hold Marlon.
So the Tigers get a 666 warning.
Hang on, are we set? Curto, set? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on set. Yeah, I'm mate. Yeah, throwing it up.
We approach the 35-minute mark. Is there time for the Bombers to get one back? Myers goes hunting it. Busting off the square was McNeese. Kicks to half forward. It's 0-1. The Tigers have come from the dead at three-quarter time.